What's up, you guys, and welcome to a whole new episode of Toni Approved. Brandy's groundbreaking Full Moon album is officially 20 years old. This is one of my all-time favorite albums, y'all. So you know I'm excited to discuss this one, especially because it is a staple in R&B music and is one of the albums that's the reason why we call Brandy the vocal Bible. Now, if you're part of this new generation and you don't know much about the Full Moon album, I'm about to school you real quick. But if you already know like I know, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Now, what can I say about this album cover? Well, I think it simply represents Brandy in its own way. On the right, we get the Brandy symbol along with the original Brandy font. This font is still used in Brandy's marketing nowadays, by the way. We get this beautiful picture of Brandy, and even with the full moon, we get an actual full moon on the cover. So I think it's really cute. This album is really a representation of Brandy and the fact she actually carried this album all herself. So yeah. 10s across the board.
To the way Prince John, I don't need this. I won't put up with it. What about us?
And the only feature on this album is her brother Brandy Jay, and this is why I love Brandy so much, because she was able to carry this project by herself, and it is such a staple in music. And when she did add someone along, she added on her brother. That is somebody outside of her daughter and her parents that she loves so much, and she's always gone hard for over their career. I love her bond with Ray J, and I know Ray J loves her too. Their bond is similar to me and my siblings, so it's just always great to see their tones merge very well. So, you know, Die Without You is a great song on the album. This category is normally reserved for the songs on the album that, you know, you might have not really gravitated towards or might need some more time for you to kind of become a fan of. Since this is a non-skip album, I want to actually zero in onto a couple of tracks that actually was brought to my attention by other people to make me love them even more.
I'm here as long as you need me. When nothing seems to work.
This song was actually brought to my attention by Solange. She was shouting Brandy out one day on Twitter, and she was just talking about it. And I always liked All in Me, but I had never really listened to it by itself. And I listened to it one day, and oh my gosh, this is one of the best songs on the album. It literally builds vocally from top to bottom. There is a change in the second verse when it comes to the beat and the flow, and then Brandy comes back in. Her leads is so nice, and it's such great vocal stacking and just harmonies everywhere. It's incredible. Rodney Jerkins produced this record, and he produced a lot on this album. In fact, Rodney was actually my very first favorite producer, and this album had a lot to do with it because it was a sound that I had never even heard before, and it's so futuristic, and I feel like this album could even come out now and today and it'll still be just amazing. I love it. Now, when it comes to Nothing is actually a fan favorite that one of my high school friends used to always play in the car whenever we used to skip school. Whenever I see people talking about the album on Twitter, they always shout out Nothing. So I know Nothing is a fan favorite. Brandy, you definitely did your thing on that one.
When I look in your eyes, I can see.
Come a Little Closer. What's so crazy about that record is I got into that record more after I went on my New York trip, which I just made a video about, you guys. If you don't mind, I would love for you guys to check that out. By my first time going to New York, this song talks about, you know, coming a little closer to somebody who you're not gonna be able to be around anymore, and it just reminded me of the dude that I met when I was in New York and how we just had this great time. You gotta watch the video so you can get more in depth into that story. This song actually made me listen to the album in a different way because I realized there's actually like a story kind of flow to the album. It could be just me, but in my mind sometimes when I listen to non-skip albums, it plays in my head like a play, and I might be connecting dots more than that's there. But if you really listen to the lyrics of the album, it flows like a story. I love her entire catalog for different reasons, but Full Moon sits comfortably at the top of her discography for me, along with 211. I know Full Moon normally gets compared to Never Say Never, but yeah, this was the album that actually brought Brandy to my attention. I remember seeing What About Us video for the first time, and I loved how futuristic it looked. The sound just was so amazing. When Full Moon came out, it sounded so much different than what other artists was putting out, so it was just everything. Brandy looked so beautiful in the video. And one thing I want to tap into a little bit, what I feel like hindered this album, was Brandy's pregnancy. I feel like the label wasn't really backing her really to be able to promote and push this album because she was pregnant. And I think, because I believe she came out with a TV show, if I'm not mistaken, like a Brandy's Delivery. So it's just like the focus became turned onto her daughter. You know, I think the next thing we knew, she was pushing out another album, and then the whole thing with the marriage and everything else. I wish the industry was how it is now back then, because if it was, it would have been no issue. With an album like Full Moon, Brandy could have definitely put out different videos pregnant, just like Cardi B be doing it, or she could have did like Beyonce, filmed several of her singles and put it all out. But you know, people just wasn't on that type of time at that time. So I really hate that she didn't really get to full-fledged promote this album and we get single after single, but it still is a testament to how great this album is, because it's still super relevant 20 years later. And I love to hear other artists talk about and give credit to her being the vocal Bible. This album is everything from the harmonies and the layers and the lead vocals. Brandy is doing so much on this album, and it's each and every track, along with the great production. When the producer and the artist really mash strongly, you get a sound like no other. Just like Aaliyah, for an example, when her and Timbaland and Missy got together, yes, that was a sound like no other. I could talk about this album and go on and on, but what do you guys think about Full Moon? Have you got a chance to listen to it? What's your favorite tracks from the Full Moon album? What are your thoughts on this album? Leave a comment down in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys think. This is a great project and it's amazing. I really hope Brandy one day puts it on vinyl, because of course you guys know I'll be here with an unboxing of it, because I love me some vinyls. All right, I will be back soon with a whole new video. This was fun and I really enjoyed it. Until next time, God bless, and thank you so much for checking out my video.